Welcome back to the Center on Buffalo podcast. This week, we're joined by Bills middle linebacker, Terrel Bernard. He's a team captain for the Bills. And when you hear him talk on this podcast, you're going to be able to tell why. He's mature beyond his years, a captain in just year 3. And the Bills only had 2 captains this season. So significant that it's just him and Josh Allen. Really impressive young man. And Terrel Bernard, this podcast was actually recorded before he signed his contract extension. So we're super thrilled to have him back on a 4-year extension that he signed with the Bills. The Bills got great value there, and I feel like it was a fair deal both ways. And that's what you want to see. You want to see the player excited about the deal, but also maybe not put the franchise in a compromising situation based upon how much money they're paying him. This is a fun episode. We talk about how his offseason's going, what he's working on, who he likes to study around the NFL at his position to get better, his relationship with Matt Milano and how he was a fan of him growing up and then now getting to play with him. This is a really fun conversation. I hope you enjoy it. For all those that have been subscribing to the YouTube channel, I appreciate that. Subscribe to the podcast. Thank you very much. Make sure you share this on social media. We'll share it as well. Like it, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you all. Go Bills. Enjoy the podcast. Terrell, welcome on the podcast, brother.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the offseason going so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I ended up staying in Buffalo for a little while, just hanging out there. And then, got back down to Texas. So I've been in Houston, training, hanging out, seeing family and stuff. So, it's been good.
Yeah, you got to take some downtime. How long do you give yourself after the season before you get back to training?
Last year I think I took like a week and a half, and I just kind of had to get back into it, which I kind of figured out that was a little too quick. This year I gave myself about two and a half weeks to kind of decompress, get away from it for a little bit, and then jump back in. So been rolling for a minute now.
I'm with you. I liked maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks off, but I like to get back in, especially if I was healthy. I always felt like it was easier to stay in shape than get back into shape. And I played at 310, and I was one of those hard gainers. So I felt like the more time I took off, the more weight I was going to have to try and get back on when I got back to lifting and whatnot. So I'm with you. We're pretty aligned right there. Is there anything as you're heading into this training part of the off season, is there anything specifically that you're looking to improve on, like any certain aspects of your game?
I do an off-season study of myself and then some other guys around the league. Getting into that, I think one of the things is just consistency in all aspects. Blitzing, coverage wise, and then fitting the run. I think I did a better job communicating this year and being that vocal point of the defense and making sure other guys were lined up right and everything was communicated pre and post snap. But I think just for myself, just consistency in my play overall. I think dealt with some injuries early in the season and kind of fought through that, and that's kind of an area where I want to really improve, is just getting my body to a spot where I can feel 100%, every single time I step onto the field.
That's a great goal. It's tough to do, but that's the goal, to get your body prepped for the season so that you can withstand the beating of the season. Who are some guys around the league at the linebacker position that you like to watch on film?
Yeah, I think the first one that stands out is Fred. I think he's one of the best in the game, obviously right now. Just his ability to do everything. I think, blitzing, like I said earlier, coverage-wise, in the run game, and then really just his command. You can feel him when you watch the tape, just how he commands the defense. So he's probably the guy that I start with most of the time. And then, leading into Roquan, Patrick Queen, those type of guys that I try to, model my game after. And, watching Matt, I think he's one of the guys that, I've been able to be next to for a few years now. And, somebody that even in college, I really tried to model my game after. So, it's a little bit different when, we're sitting in meetings together now, but, I still study in the off season and try to pick up, certain things that I might not catch during the year.
I know you were looking up to him in college, but you weren't like Buffalo Joe rocking his jersey at games like he was. So a little different there, but how valuable was it for you, for a guy coming in out of college, and you get to step in and play next to and learn from a guy like Matt Milano?
Yeah, it was so valuable. Like you said, I studied him in college a lot, and he was the guy that, I really wanted to model my game after. I feel like we had a lot of similarities and, just play style and, kind of how he got to the ball, how he took the ball away, things like that. and to come in and really learn under him my rookie year, and then have the last 2 years to be next to him in meetings and playing together, going through training camp together, OTAs together. I think being able to pick his brain on how he sees things. He's been in the system for a long time, so little nuanced things that you might not get unless you have that experience. I feel like he did a great job helping me out, and it's been fun building a relationship with him, and he's become one of my best friends on the team. So it's a weird cycle how some of this stuff works, but it's been fun.
All right. So you mentioned that this year you felt like your communication improved and you could see you pre snap out there communicating to all the guys. How hard is it when you're at home? So it's obviously flipped for offense and defense. Like when you deal with the crowd noise, you guys deal with it when we're actually at home. How tough can it be in Highmark Stadium to communicate to the rest of the defensive players when the crowd's rocking and rolling in there? And then does it have to be mainly nonverbal at that point?
Yeah, for sure, man. It is insane. Like you said, people forget that when we're at home, that's like our version of a road game almost. You can't hear anything. You can't speak to the guy next to you. You can't really do what you do on the road. So I think our hand signals, our communication throughout the week. I have the guys in the back end. We have a back seven meeting. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where it's just the players, and we're kind of in there talking about, if this situation pops up, I give you this signal, that means this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, you kind of have to build a new language, and once you get deeper into the season, you can't keep putting the same signals on tape. So you change that up every so often, and then you keep rolling from there. But yeah, you can't hear anything. I'm sure you remember when y'all were out there, when the crowd gets rocking and stuff. There's not very much time to communicate, and opportunity to communicate with Bills Mafia.
Yeah, for sure. But when we're on a road game, like generally as the core as the center, I'm, communicating to guys that are very close to me. So even on the road, a lot of times we can verbally communicate that at the line of scrimmage at least. Much different when you have, guys spread out all over a defense and you're trying to communicate to them. That's interesting too, because when you get to be playing at home, yes, it's an advantage that you have the crowd noise. The offense has to go on a silent cadence, but when you have to give those nonverbal hand gestures, whatever it may be, the offense is studying that throughout the week. And then you got guys on their sideline that are simply during the game charting what you guys are doing. So you have to constantly mix those up and, maybe give them a dummy one early in the game. And hopefully they saw something on film. And I could say this, you can. I'm not giving away any secrets. I've never been coached by Bobby Babich on the defense side of the football. But, oftentimes for the listeners out there, okay, we know that you've seen this on film. We're going to give you that signal early in the game to
Yep.
make sure that you can't trust when you see the rest of the game, because we're going to flip it from what it was prior. So pretty interesting right there. We just mentioned Bobby Babich. Dude, I really love. One of my favorite people. He actually bought my house off me in Buffalo when my
Yeah.
career ended with the neck injury. And so, guy I've been close with too for a long time. Excited to see him get this opportunity. How was it working with Bobby this year, not as a position coach, but as the defensive coordinator?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Bobby did a great job. Just we talk about it a lot, but his energy is contagious, and he comes in every single morning with the same attitude, the same intensity, the same focus, and I think that bleeds into the guys in the room. We've I've had him personally as my linebacker coach for 2 years, and then to see him take that next step, and to become a defensive coordinator and really command and control a room, and really set the stage for how we want to operate and how we want to be. It was really cool, and me and Bobby talk a lot about things throughout the year, ways to get better, areas he needs me to improve. He asked where he can improve, and I think we have a really good relationship, and it's built off of mutual respect, and I see how hard he works, and he knows that I'm going to do whatever I can to help him out and help the rest of the guys out. So it's been great, man. He's a great coach, and really a great guy too.
Yeah, for sure. I was so excited for him to get that opportunity. The strength of this Bills defense this year was their ability to take away the football. Only one game this year, the Bills didn't get a takeaway, and throughout the season, constantly led the league in forcing turnovers and ended up with the most forced turnovers at the end of the season. I know a lot's been talked about in the media that, it's something you guys put an emphasis on and this and that, but at what point is it that Buffalo has also assembled a lot of guys like yourself, a Taron Johnson, a Christian Benford, guys that go for the football naturally and have a playmaking aspect to them?
Yeah, I think there's truth in that. I feel like that's kind of how they constructed the defense, honestly. I feel like over the last few years and really even before that, we've always been known for taking the ball away. And I feel like it's a philosophy and it's something that we truly believe in and something that we honestly work on every single day. People can talk about it, but you have to go out there and really execute techniques and put yourself in the best position to be able to do it. And I feel like we do a good job of that. I think, detailing what you do and then, having an idea of how to get the ball away when you get there and when you get to your spot. That's what it comes down to. And you only get so many opportunities throughout a game, throughout a season. And so, when your time comes up, you gotta make the play, or you gotta be able to put yourself in position to end up making the play. And I feel like we did a really good job of that last year. Obviously some things to clean up, but that was an aspect that we felt like we were good in, and something that we can build on going into this year.
Best in the league. That's something you can hang your hat on. We're gonna give a quick shout out to Waterboy, best hydration packets out there right now. Have you tried these yet, Terrell?
I have not. I have not.
All
It
right.
looks good though.
All right, we're going to get you some. This is the workout hydration packets. They got glutamine in it, completely clean product. We'll get you some sent,
Cool.
and they're an awesome friend of the show. All right, we were talking about turnovers. One of my favorite plays when I think back to the season, I think back to you punching that ball out of Mark Andrews' hands. And look, I know it's a split second decision. So, I could ask you, what were you thinking in that moment? And there's only so much you could think when the ball's
Yeah.
caught. Now you're trying to make a play. But what I want to know is at that point in the game, what you can do is change your mindset heading into the series. Like, okay, if we got an opportunity, we got to go after the ball. They're starting to move the ball. This is getting to be a tight game. Was that your mindset heading into the series to where, okay, now I see that ball and I could potentially punch it out? This might be the opportunity here.
Yeah, I think honestly the whole game. We had talked about throughout the week just the conditions of the game and how it was going to be. Obviously, a little snowy, a little slick, and something that we deal with pretty consistently up there. But we know that's an issue for offensive guys, and kind of what you alluded to. Just the tempo of the game, the feeling of the game. Situations like that, once it gets to second half or fourth quarter, there's always an added emphasis on getting the ball back. And, I think we do a great job on the sidelines, the coaches do, of really communicating that with us. Sometimes you get so locked in of what you got going on and adjustments to make that, you kind of lose sight of, what's really important. And for us, that's getting the ball. And I can't remember which coach it was, but I know they came over to the sideline on the bench before we went out there, and they were telling us to go after it. And just so happened, like I said earlier in the show, that's one of my opportunities. I had coverage in the middle of the field. The guy cut back across, and the ball was kind of just there. So tried to do my best that I could to time it up and hit it right, and just ended up getting it on the button. So it's a crazy feeling, when it works out and you kind of like plan it out like that. So I'm glad I got it done.
Yeah, that was a big time moment. You mentioned that was a snowy, cold game. All right, so you're from Texas, and look, you're if you're in Buffalo long enough, then you say, okay, we're at an advantage. We're going to use the cold and the snow to our advantage because you could practice in it. But ultimately, you lived most of your life in Texas. How'd you do adjusting to the cold when you first got up to Buffalo?
Man, it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It was tough, man. It took me a good part of the year, my rookie year, to kind of get adjusted to it. I feel like we have a good plan going in. We practice outside. Obviously, have an outdoor stadium and play in it. But yeah, it was so much different than what I was used to. I grew up in Houston and then played college ball at Baylor, so Central Texas, and I think when I got to Buffalo, that was like the second or third time I've ever seen snow in my life. So it was a
Wow.
huge, yeah, it was a huge adjustment. But after my rookie year, I felt like, all right, I'm in it. I've done it. I've practiced in it. I played in it, and it's kind of it becomes like second nature almost.
Let's take a moment to hear from one of our sponsors, and that's Dano's Seasoning. They got some new seasonings out. You got to check these out. They got the Italiano. It goes great on any Italian food that you're prepping each and every time you cook. You also have the Cheesening, and it's now upgraded. They have it with jalapeno in it, and they also have one with red pepper flakes. Go check that out at danoseasoning.com. Go to a retailer store near you, and yum, yum, get you some. Tell me this. What kind of honor is it to be named just one of the two captains for the Bills? So you're the only captain on the defense side of the football, and you're just in your third year with the Bills.
I think that was probably the biggest honor that I could have, honestly.
Hmm.
To have the trust and respect of your teammates to name you a captain, I think that's the biggest accomplishment that I've had in my career so far. And like you said, Josh Allen's the only other captain on the team, so it's something that I don't take lightly. I wear it, with dignity and really respect for the guys around me, and understanding that I've got to carry myself in a certain way and do things to put other guys in positions to succeed. And I think that was one of my main thoughts going into this year, was really just do what I have to do to help the guys around me. And becoming a captain was one of my goals and something that I had worked for. But until it happens, I don't think you understand the responsibility of it all. And I wear that with pride, and I hope the guys around me saw that.
And we can see it from the outside as well. The way you conduct yourself, the way you lead that defense. As a Bills alumni now and someone who works in the organization, we are extremely proud of the way that you led. And even early on, the way you handled yourself in the media, the way you approached each day, you assume that you're going to take that leadership role eventually. And it was awesome to see it come into fruition so early in your career, because not everybody can step into that as early as you did. So congrats on that. You said it well. It's the highest honor when your coaches and teammates put you in that position, especially when there was only two on the team. And I understand there's a lot of leaders on the team. There's a large leadership council, but to be one of the two is pretty special. All right, we're going to head into the rapid fire questions now, and then we'll get you out of here afterwards. Number one. All right, so you're at Baylor. Did you spend any time around Chip and Joanna Gaines?
I actually did. They are huge sports fans.
Yeah.
So they were at a lot of football games, a lot of basketball games. Yeah, they're really cool people up in Magnolia. I've been there a few times. So yeah, it's an awesome spot.
Are they going to do a house for you one day?
I hope so.
All right, if you could only go to one concert this entire offseason, who would you go see?
Man, I'd probably have to go with my Texas guy, George Strait. I think he's actually coming up to Buffalo.
Yes, with Chris
Right.
Stapleton.
Yep, yeah. So I might try to make that one.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there for that one as well. All right, did you adopt the barefoot lifestyle from Mac Hollins like so many on the team did this year?
I can't say that I did. I tried it out. I tried it out during training camp. I would go in our afternoon walkthroughs. I would go out there and do it, and it just wasn't for me. I respect those guys that do it. He stuck with it all year. He was doing it when it was 10 degrees, snow on the ground. So respect to him. But it didn't suit me.
Him walking to games barefoot is one of the most fascinating things to me. Like
He is.
you step on a piece of glass in the parking lot. I mean, you got to be walking with your face to the ground to make sure you don't step on something, especially walking through the Bills parking lots before a game. So a lot of respect there. All right, what's your favorite wing spot in Buffalo?
Man, I probably have to say barbell. That's the classic one, the one everybody talks about when I first got there. That's probably the one I go to the most. People have been saying wing nuts. I haven't tried that yet, but yeah, barbell is probably my favorite right now.
What's your go-to order there?
So I think it's the 10-piece medium hot with blue cheese and a side of ranch. I know people don't like that, but I'm from Texas, so that's kind of what we go with.
So you order both the blue cheese and the ranch. Is that so you don't get ridiculed for not even getting the blue cheese, or are you using it?
A little bit of both. I use it a little bit, but yeah, just a little bit, because every time I ask for ranch, they kind of give me the side eye. But I get it. I understand.
No, that's cool. Hey, I appreciate you coming on. I hope you have an awesome rest of the offseason. Stay healthy, enjoy some downtime, and good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.